Good night. Good night. Hey, everybody, it's Monday, our team-wide call meeting. We're so glad that you guys are here. If you don't see your friend, make sure you tag them, but also make sure you know these calls are recorded. So when you get to jump on your Monday night calls, because let's face it, not every single night we're available, just make sure you press for your team to watch the recording. So, hey guys, my name is Amy. I am from Jackson, Tennessee, between the two music cities of Tennessee, Memphis, and Nashville. I've been living here pretty much my whole life, married to my high school sweetheart, Ricky. We've been married for over 28 years now. I've got an adult daughter who's been married 2 years, and my son who is newly engaged. We love spending time together as a family. That's just a little about me. Guys, I've been drinking and sharing ketones for 6 years now. I was just telling Christina the other day, my friend Christina on here, that I couldn't believe it's been 6 years. Like time just flies by. But the thing I love even more than drinking and having the benefits of ketones for myself and my body and my family is sharing it with other people. Like my biggest joys I think I found over the last 6 years is just helping individual people and their families become in better health, like fixing their health and fixing their personal goals and just seeing people so happy. So, guys, welcome to the call. We are going to take a very short time to get Nick on. Nick is going to be here with us today. And we're just going to, of course, celebrate August. And we're going to talk about the most simple way to run your business because our business model is so simple. And I'm going to give you a little more about that later. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to go ahead and ask Nick to come on and give us some information about August. How was August, Nick?
Awesome. Hey, thank you, Amy. What's happening, everybody? My name's Nick. If I haven't met you yet, I live out in Minnesota. I see a lot of familiar faces and some new faces on here. Welcome. Real quick for just humor me, on what is it? Yes, Saturday was the 31st, right? August 31st. I think it was Saturday. Saturday was my 9-year anniversary with Prove It, meaning 9 years ago, Saturday, August 31st, I said yes, became a promoter, started sharing ketones, didn't know what a ketone was. So type how long you have been sharing ketones, because my guess is it's somewhere between 1 day and 9 years. But I'm curious. 6 years for Amy. She just shared that. Chris, a year and a half. We got 5 months. How long have you guys been sharing ketones? 3 months, Heidi. Almost 4 months, Camille. 14 months, 3.5. 6.5 for Christina. Jennifer, Mackenzie, 4 years. 1 year for Courtney. Awesome, Courtney. I remember meeting you for the first time like a year ago. Super cool. Close to 2 years, 11 months, 4 days. Oh my gosh. Welcome, Cheryl. Welcome. Are you the newest? Are you the youngest promoter on here? Anybody less than 4 days that just signed up in the last 2 days? I think Cheryl needs a prize for that. Cheryl, email simplefunketo@gmail.com. Somebody type that out for her in the chat, simplefunketo@gmail.com. And type shaker bottle winner. We're going to send you a shaker bottle, a Prove It shaker bottle, just for being on tonight. So thanks for hopping on. Really excited that you're here. We do these Zooms each week, Monday nights. This month, we've shifted our time 30 minutes just to make it simple to remember, because sometimes there's a lot of calls and Zooms, and I know we all have busy lives, and when they are like 8:30 versus 8 versus what? So this month, it's simple. You can write this down. Monday night, we have a team call. This is just educational, inspirational, be in the know. We do this each week just to connect, stay connected, stay close to the fire. And then Thursday nights at 8 Eastern. So tonight, 8 Eastern. Thursday night, 8 Eastern. I'm just going to talk in Eastern so that we can all focus on one time zone rather than have to say it for every single time zone. Thursday nights, we have a guest call. And we're actually going to talk a lot more about that call here in a few minutes. But that will be a validation call, an informational call for you to invite people to every week. So you can just count on that. Like I could give you a calendar, but it's going to say Monday and Thursday, Monday and Thursday. Now I know all of you are part of different smaller teams that meet and have more intimate settings and more just individualized just communication. So you'll definitely have some different calls that you can plug into outside of these, but I just want to make sure that that is known. So while I love this conversation of how long you've been drinking and sharing ketones, what I will tell you is 9 years in, What we're going to talk about today is exactly what I still do, right? So we're September is all about back to school. I'm calling it back to school, back to the basics, and back on track. All right, back to school, back to the basics, back on track. My 8-year-old is upstairs right now. She's picking out her clothes for her first day of third grade, which starts tomorrow. My 11-year-old started sixth grade. For some reason, our district starts the sixth graders early. She started her first day of school on Tuesday of last week, or Wednesday of last week. It was Wednesday and Thursday she went to school. Don't know why, but it was back to school. And a lot of times when you go back to school, they spend the first week going through the basics, like expectations. This is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to show up. Stuff they've heard before. Like, what'd you do at school today? Oh, we just talked more about like how we're going to go out throughout this year. And it's interesting. Why do you do that? Why do you set it like you set standards? You set a foundation. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about like what that means for our business, what that means for sharing ketones. Before we do though, I just want to give a shout out to everybody for August. August was an awesome month. If you gave out a pack of ketones in the month of August to somebody new, type that's me in the chat. Type that's me. Hopefully that's all of you, right? And I want us to celebrate the little things. I want us to celebrate the little things because it's the small things that we do on a consistent basis, the small things that seem to make no difference in the act of doing. You may have given, Todd gave somebody ketones, Maureen gave somebody ketones, Chris gave 8 people ketones, Sharon gave Agnalina, Camille. You all gave somebody ketones, and in the process of giving out one pack, it may or may not make a difference in the trajectory of your business, right? Something that seems easy to do sometimes is inconsequential in the moment, but it's the consistent action of that over a period of time that yields results in your business. So I'm excited tonight because it was my 9-year anniversary. But I want to tell you a little story here before we get into kind of the content of today. And that was how I got started. So I got started in this style of business back in 2009. So while I've been with Prove It for 9 years, I've been, in direct sales, this channel of marketing, network marketing, multi-level marketing, direct sales, whatever the heck you want to call it, since 2009. So it's been about, what is that, an additional 6 years on that. So 15 years. And my first month in the business, I shared it with everybody that I knew. I talked about what I had with a lot of people that would listen. I made cold calls. I did all the things. And at the end of the month, I had 0 people who enrolled. 0. In fact, it was April 30th. I got started March 31st. April 30th, I happened to be in Colorado where my parents live. And my I was there. I was a pilot back then, so I'd flown there just to see my parents for a day or two, and I happened to be hiking with them. We went for a hike. They live in kind of in the mountains, and I talked my dad's ear off about my new business, and he's like, at the end of the hike, we got home. He's like, "Here's my credit card. Basically, just stop talking to me. I'll buy whatever you have. I'll become your distributor. I'm happy to support you. I love you. Here's it was just a pity sign up." And I remember that day getting a call from my friend, my sponsor, Corey in the business. And Corey says, "Oh my gosh, you got a sale. That's incredible, Nick. You're going to crush this. We're going to make millions of dollars. Like this is the future. This is where we're headed." And again, 30 days in, lots of activity, no one enrolled until my dad, and Corey didn't know that that was my dad, even though it shared the last name. He may have known, but he didn't care. He was excited and he was celebrating it. So I remember saying, "Corey, it's my dad. It was a pity sign up." And he says, "Nick, it doesn't matter. We're going to do this. This is going to be amazing. We're going to change a lot of lives. We're going to help a lot of people. We're going to build massive businesses together." And for some reason, his belief in me through the phone, I remember like it was yesterday. I was in my parents' guest bedroom in the basement talking to him in the bathroom because I got the phone call and I'm just like, "Well, all right, I'm going to shut the door and talk to him real quick." And I was embarrassed to like have my parents hear him celebrating their buying something in my business. But he was just enthusiastic. He was excited. It got me into the next month. So I share that right now because here we are, like literally 15 years later, right? And what he said was actually true. Now, it took a number of years for that to unfold and for that to take place, right? But if it weren't for him celebrating my little win, then I probably would have said, "Hey, I don't know if this is for me. I'm not into sales. I don't like to talk to people. I'm really shy." I would have allowed all of those limiting beliefs and doubts seep in, and I probably would have just let myself off the hook. So I want you all to type something, even if you're 4 days in. What's something in the month of August that you want to celebrate for yourself? Something that you're like, man, I crushed this. Maybe it was you got up a couple of posts. Maybe it was you went live. Maybe it was you talked to a stranger. Maybe it was that one pack that you gave out. Like, what's one thing? Everybody on here has to have something. And I don't judge anything that maybe you got a new customer, maybe you got a new promoter, maybe you got a new affiliate, maybe you went to a vendor fair. You finally got your sister into this. All right, Gay, that's awesome. Followed some inklings and just went and shared. I love it. Met one of my followers in Texas and she grabbed the box. There you go, Magdalena. Love it. Marine earned the cruise. That's awesome. Congratulations. Stayed consistent no matter what. A new promoter and two new affiliates. Jennifer, congratulations. Camille went live a lot more. That's awesome. Awesome. Cheryl, 3 more customers to get your free ketones. All right. Talk to 2 new people in person, Kim. Todd got a new promoter. Cheryl hit MVP again and got an affiliate. Woohoo. Charity did a vendor event. Posted some videos for Joyce. New customer last day of the month from a trial pack. And booked your airfare for the cruise. Let's go, Amy. Chris, madly consistent and did most of the things. Tapped in like crazy. Love it, Chris. Did your first vendor event, Crystal. Congratulations. Maureen went live. Oh my gosh. One of the people you shared ketones with your first 6 months, 8 years ago, called me and said she's ready. I love that story, Liz. Congratulations. Listen to that. Liz shared ketones with somebody 8 years ago, and guess when they finally said yes? This last month. I mean, so here's the deal. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs in this business. There's going to be times where people tell you yes. There's going to be times where people tell you no. There's probably be a lot more no's than yeses. That's just how it works in life. Unfortunately, that's the case. If we're all rainbows, we'd probably have unicorns that lived around us, but we don't. Even my 8-year-old knows that's true now. But here's the reality. People will say no to ketones for a period of time, and you just never know when they're going to say yes. Case in point, Liz's new customer who said no for 8 years and then said yes. Another case in point, my mother-in-law, who on the sale was like, hey, I need some more of that MCT. I need some more of that protein. She said no for 7 years. Mother-in-law, identical twin sister of my wife, said no for 6 years. And then she finally said yes as well. So with that being said, congratulations, guys. It was an awesome month. We had an incredibly strong close to the month. More new customers came in over the last week, like literally than probably the month of July. It was just awesome. So all of the effort, right, and the activity that's happening it works. It just is a matter of time. August is one of those months where the goal is to plant as many seeds as possible and then to continue those planting of seeds in September and then double down on our process, which we're going to talk about here in a minute in September. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to Amy. We're going to go through some basics training. And at the end of this call, I'm going to give you guys a little challenge as far as like what to do now. How do we actually apply this? So Amy, I know many of you have probably heard of ACE, but we're going to hopefully enlighten you a little bit and just take you through the process, even for those who've been around for 8 years.
Yes. So yes, congratulations, everybody. I love reading all of those takeaways. Like all of us have so much to be proud of. Always, always keep those small wins right in front of you. So you can celebrate those small wins every single day because we have something every single day to celebrate. So congratulations. 2 things, or actually 3 things Nick said that hit me hard. Number 1, simple. Our business is really, it truly is simple. And if you are consistent with staying in our simple path to success, you guys are going to be so amazed and you're going to be so happy Does that mean it's going to happen overnight? Absolutely not. It is not going to happen in a week. Today, I actually talked to 3 people who are brand new customers. One said they've been watching me on social media for 3 years. So today's the first time she took my phone number. I've given it to her numerous times, but this is the first time she actually called me. And then I talked to another person who actually says she loves the Keto Dad. She said, I've been following the Keto Dad for 4 years. And she said, I just love him and I love his recipes, but I also been watching you and I just feel like some kind of crazy connection to you. And I'm like, well, it's okay. I said, Nick and I are friends. If you've been watching Nick, and she's like, oh no, I know he told me that if you can help me, thank you, Nick. So this is just some examples of how people will follow you. So the system we're talking about tonight is ACE. ACE. Y'all write this down. If you don't have a pen and paper, y'all grab it because you're going to want to take some nuggets from tonight's call. And again, simple and consistency. One other thing Nick said that cracked me up is that he had a bathroom conversation. When I first got started in this business, I truly had conversations in the bathroom. Most every single time I worked my business was in the bathroom. And I had conversations with Nick on the toilet too. When you are consistent in your business, you make the time. You will find time in your day that you are still and you are quiet, and you're going to use all of the time you have, or the blocks of time that you dedicate to this system of ACE. So Nick, I'm going to ask you some questions. I think it'll be really cool if we find some question answer time, because I think actually you guys may throw some questions in the chat too. And between me and Nick, we'll check them out. We're going to focus on ACE. So Nick, let me ask you a question. I know this. I've been doing this 9 years. And Nick, if you guys didn't hear, Nick said, whether you're 4 days in, Cheryl, welcome. Whether you're 4 days in or 9 years in like me, we are doing this exact same thing every single day in our business, and that's ACE. So number 1, ACE, Nick, what does ACE stand for?
That's awesome. So A, guys, is this system, 3 simple letters. It's a process. If you follow it, it works. If you don't follow it, results are unpredictable. They can still work, but it's not always as predictable. So A stands for 2 things. One is attract, and that's usually what people say is attract. That's just attract. What does that mean? It means I'm wearing a shirt that says prove it. Somebody might ask, what's prove it? That's attracting a conversation. I might wear a shirt that says ketones. They say, what are ketones? That's creating attraction. I might just have great energy, and somebody says, man, you have really great energy and a big smile. Like, why are you so happy? That's attraction. Starts the conversation. You can also create attraction using social media. Put up a post on social media saying, oh my gosh, feeling amazing today. So glad I found this drink. That's all you posted. You know what? People are probably going to comment, what are you drinking? What are you talking about? That creates attraction. Okay. You could also go to a vendor event and have a table, and that's creating attraction. Why? People are coming up to your table because you probably have a sign on it or you have some samples out. People are attracted to that. Okay. The other side of the A, because this is where people kind of miss, is approach. Because it's attract and approach. What does that mean? The difference is attract, people are coming to you. Approach, you're going to the people. And here's the big distinction is you don't have to wait for people to come to you. You can go to the people. What does that mean? It means you can get your phone out, and instead of waiting for them to comment, you can send them a message. Right? And the easiest message to send is, hey, curious, are you drinking ketones yet? Found something you're going to love. Why do I share this one all the time? Because guess what? That's how I was approached by somebody to be in this business. I wasn't attracted to them. And they were my friends. But they messaged me and said, Nick, we found it. I said, what'd you find? They said, are you drinking ketones? Have you heard of these? I said, no, what is it? They said, I'm sending you a video. They sent me a video. So they approached me. So those are the 2 things. The great thing of approach is you can control the number of conversations that you have. So the simple thing for the month of September that I'm going to ask each of you at the end of this call is, how many conversations are you planning to have in the month of September? How do you control that? You control that by approaching. Over time, you want to create enough environments for yourself where you're attracting at a large level. That's why social media is fun. That's why doing tastings are fun, right? That's why going out in public with great energy is fun, because you can create that attraction, but now you can also approach. So the A is attract or approach. What's
I love that.
your favorite way to attract, Amy? I think I already know the answer to that.
Well, I actually love what you just said, and it really made it put something in my head. So if you think about maybe you're a teenager, maybe you're a young adult, but you went to a party and like there's people who walk in and you can tell which ones are attractive. I mean, they're smiling and they're happy and they're bubbly and they've got this positive energy. But then I notice them sometimes like standing in the corner. They're just smiling in the corner. Like they're just smiling. And I mean, they look really good over there, but they're not really talking to anybody. They're just smiling. And you know, that is attraction. And that is what Nick is saying. You can create attraction and wait for people to come over and ask you to dance, or you can actually approach the people. You can be attractive and approach at the same time, which is even better. So there are lots of ways you do it. Nick, you know, my favorite way of attracting is through social media. I love social media. I always have. And I love to post things that are attractive, positive things, things that are inspirational, things that are encouraging. Everyone loves food. So, like posting things that people can actually share and love. And as far as ketones go, I personally love to share stories. So, when you meet people, even if they're not your customers, when you meet me or you meet Nick or you meet Christine or Maureen or Debbie, everybody's faces I see on here, you can gather stories. And sharing stories is very attractive as far as social media or in person. When I'm talking to people on the phone, I always share stories. So that's an attraction piece. That's just one thing I love to do, Nick, with the A is attract through stories and past experience of myself and other people I know. So I love the A. The A is so important, guys. And again, it's all about consistency. If you just go out to the vendor event today and you meet a lot of people and you never go back, how are you going to attract let me say it this way. If you set up a table at the gym and you went one day in 1 month, but you never go back, is that consistent? Like you're not going to see those same people again. And those same people, just like on social media, are following you. So they want to see consistency. They want to see your smiling face and your positive energy. And you can go there and smile, but then you also can approach and call them over and be excited. So those are just a couple of things I love about the A, Nick, but it has to be all the time. It can't just be one day a week. So the next letter, guys, is C. So again, the acronym is ACE. We talked about attraction and or approach. So let's talk about the C, which is connect. Now, Nick, I've got a question for you. When we talk about connect, I know there's a lot of ways that you can connect, but what is that in general, what does it mean to connect someone?
I love it. The purpose of the connect step, this is step number 2. Now that you've started the conversation, what now? One of my favorite sayings is say less to more people. Say less to more people. If your lips are moving, they should be introducing a tool. They should be introducing a person or a video. So a lot of times what we do is we create that attraction and we try to be the validator. We try to be the connector. We try to be the all-knowing and convince them and sell them ketones. This isn't network selling. This is network marketing. This isn't like our goal is not to just be salespeople, right? You want to have some skills, some communication skills, but our skill that we're using is the art of connection. So what does that mean? It means we are going to connect them to a resource to validate the conversation. So we create curiosity, we pique interest, right? And then we validate what we have. So how do we do that? We do that through the resources that we have. So my favorite resource is our pruvit.com/learn website, which has had a facelift in the last couple of months. The first video on there is our campfire video. So I'll tell somebody, I'm going to send you a video. I want you to watch it. What do I send them? nick.pruvit.com/learn. And they get to watch the campfire video. They get to watch some other videos. They get to see information about what ketones do. Now that's the first step of connection. And I always say ACE should be said with a stutter. ACE, right? Because it's not connecting one time. A lot of times what we are so as employees, I was a great employee as a pilot. And if you told me connect somebody, I'd connect them once and I'd expect the result, meaning I expect it to be done. Hey, I sent them a video. They should be the customer now. I connected them to the call. They should why didn't they buy yet? Well, the reality is if you even ask Google, how long does it take somebody to traditionally make a buying decision? They need to see anywhere from 7 to as many as 15 pieces of information before they're going to get started. So you have to say A with the stutter, meaning you have to connect them to your link to watch the video. Then you have to ask them, did you get to watch the video? Then you might have to connect them with the other videos on the video, right? And then what do you get to do? You get to connect them with your sponsor. Oh my gosh, you have to hear my friend Amy's story. She's amazing. You're really going to resonate with XYZ. Let me put you in a chat real quick and introduce you. You're going to love her. That's a connection. We have these guest calls. Remember at the beginning of the call, I said we're having a guest call every single Thursday night. Why? So that you can connect people to those calls. I invite people to those calls every week. I would say 90% of the people I invite don't come, maybe even 95%. And then there's 5% maybe say they're going to come, and then 1% show up. And then another 5% end up watching the recording. And then guess what? I invite them all the next week, and I invite them all the next week, and I invite them all the next week until eventually 5 years later, they're ready to go. But you know what? I can't predict somebody's timing, only they can. It's not my job to convince them it's time is right now. I have to provide an opportunity for them to get started when they're ready. So that's why connecting with consistency and over time will work really, really well. Now, at the end of the day in this business, there's usually two challenges. And you usually have one or the other. Number one, you either have an attraction or approach challenge, meaning you're not having enough conversations. You're not initiating enough conversations. Number two, I have people that, Nick, I talk to everyone. I've had all of these conversations. Well, then the challenge that they're having, if they're not seeing the results that they're looking for, is a connection challenge, meaning they have not connected those people to enough resources. And that means they have not done enough follow-up, right? They're just waiting for that person to get started. So you kind of see the difference there. Now, I want to ask you each individually, and you can answer this in the chat, or you can just answer it kind of in your head. Which of those are you most needing to work on? Is it I need to have more conversations, or I need to be connecting people more? Maybe ask yourself, who's the last people that I connected with my sponsor? Have I connected, say at least 50 or 75% of the conversations I've had with another human, right? Both connect more. Okay. Usually it's connecting. Usually a lot of people start having conversations. So Amy, that's the connect step. What's the next one? Where are we going next?
One thing I want to say about the connection, if you don't mind, is I see a lot of people saying they need to work on connection. I honestly think from talking with friends of my own that it really comes back to just mindset. They feel like if they've already shared the link, then they've already shared a video and they've shared before and after stories, and they feel like they're going to be bugging the person or overstepping by giving them more information. And I just want to challenge you all to really remove that thought from your mind. Nick uses this example a lot, and it's so true. And it doesn't matter what the product is, but if you get emails because you went and bought your favorite pair of jeans, and those jeans are like a designer jean, and you're going to constantly get emails letting you know that this store has an amazing sale, or this store has a new fit, or this store has a new cut, and you're going to consistently get those emails, and it does not bug the mess out of you. If it did, you would unsubscribe. But instead, every time you get it, you're like, oh shoot, yes, I need to save up for that. Oh yes, I forgot I want to get those. Your reminder is just a touching point. It's a connection. Every time you ask them to a guest call, it's a connection. It's a reminder. Every time you tell them about the Labor Day sale, it's just a reminder. It's a connection. They actually are thankful that you haven't let them off the hook, or you haven't forgotten about them, because their life is so busy. Sometimes they just have forgotten, or they've gotten so busy they haven't pulled the trigger. But you need to make the connections, whether that's with your sponsor or your friend, or through follow-up calls and other things. So I just want to make sure I threw that in there. Nick, the last thing, because we all want to make sure that we're good with your time, is E. A stands for attraction, connection, and enroll. So Nick, I would love to know, what does it mean? Like, after you've connected with people, it might have been 2 times, it might have been 15 times, they are ready. They're like, oh my gosh, Nick, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for following up with me. Like, I really want to jump in on this Labor Day sale before it's over. Like, what does the enroll part actually look like for us as a new promoter, or someone like you that's been doing it for 9 years?
Awesome. I love the E, and I think the E can actually have 2 words to it, kind of like the A. The E can stand for experience and enroll, meaning get somebody an experience of the product and then help them enroll. So what does that mean? It means we're taking them through the process. And sometimes there's a little bit of a bridge. It's almost like the ACE needs a dash between the C and the E, and that dash should stand for the ask, because what we don't generally do is ask people if they're ready to get started or ask them how they want to get started. So a lot of times we connect, then we're just waiting. But if no one said to you, hey, do you want to do this? Hey, are you ready to get started? Or do you have some more questions? Hey, we have a sale going on right now for the next 4.5 hours, 3.5 hours. Do you want to take advantage of it? If you ask somebody the question, are you ready to get started? Or do you have some other questions first? Guess what? They're going to tell you yes or no. If you don't ask the question, they're not going to tell you. And a lot of times we don't ask because we're afraid of the answer. We have this don't ask policy where we're like, well, if I don't ask them, then they're not telling me no. Well, I'd rather get a lot of no's than get a lot of ambiguity, because then I just don't know what's going on. So you might need to get your ask in gear and start asking all of the people that are on your list, hey, are you ready to get started? Now, when we have sales, that creates an opportunity for you to ask. When we do things like trial packs, y'all know that you can sell 5 or 10 servings to people. That is where the experience comes in. Now, we did the Give a Pack challenge last week where I challenged y'all to get packs into people's hands. That was getting somebody an experience of the product, right? Now that person may be ready. You could ask them, hey, do you want to start with a 5, like, I know you just got your 1 serving. How was your raspberry lemonade? Did you love it? Oh, it was tasty. I don't know if I want it or not. Well, no problem. Hey, I've got like 5 serving trial packs, or you can get the best value with a full box on my website. How do you think you'd want to experience more of the product? Do you just want to dip your toe in the water, or do you want to jump in with me? And if you ask somebody that, now you're helping them to get an experience of ketones into their body before they actually like completely enroll in our system. So we've attracted or we approached, we connect them information. We're making the ask, asking them if they're ready to get started. They say, hey, I'd love to. Awesome. Well, here's some different options. And then from there, now we need to help them get rolling. So now is the enroll piece. And enrolling somebody goes beyond just making the sale, right? If you enrolled a new customer over the weekend, that's great. That's step 1. They have their box coming. Now we want to plug them into what we're doing. We want to plug them into the Drink Ketones Daily Facebook group. We want to ask them, hey, do you want to do the iFast with us or the shred with us next week? Did you get your shred box? We want to find out what their goals are. We want to kind of enroll them in our community, plug them into the Prove It social medias, plug them into your social media. Make sure that they're connected with our community, and then help them along the way. Now, it's not something that you have to call every customer on a daily basis. By no means. They probably don't want to be talked to every single day. But if you check in with them a couple times in the first 2 weeks, and then maybe once a month to see how they're doing, and they might need some more support with that, you can also connect them in to our community. We have different calls that support customers. You can invite them to our guest calls, because now they get to hear other stories. They have validation for what they're doing, and it kind of takes them to the next level. So Amy, anything to add on the ask as well as the enroll?
I absolutely love what you just said, because that's exactly what I was going to make sure that I shared. Your customers are wanting an experience. They just don't want to just buy a box and never be talked to again. So when we have that conversation, which I always recommend over the phone if at all possible, that way you have a connection with that person before they ever even purchase anything. You ask them, like, what are their goals? Like, why are they drinking ketones? Are they doing this for energy, or are they doing this for fat loss? And always make sure that you're putting their needs above yours. So of course we want to make a sale. We want to make commissions, right? So we're hoping they're going to buy the biggest bundle out there, but they're going to tell you what they need. And then you get to piece together what will benefit them. And in that conversation, you get to tell them, that. I'll always have the conversations with, now we have a lot of amazing products. Like, I would love to talk to you about the protein, but honestly, you don't need the protein for what you're looking for. So this is what I would recommend you do. When you put that customer up front ahead of what you are going to make, you're making them important. They're special. You know what their goals are. You can jot that down. And you want to create community with your customers. You want them to call you. You want them to text you when there's a problem or when they get their drinks. And if they buy drinks from you and they don't know you, and they don't know how to contact you in the future, they are not going to be your customer very long. So it's a whole lot more than just a sale. It truly is a connection as much as you can make with every single person who's purchasing a product from you. So I definitely wanted to make sure when we talk about the enrollment, it's so much more than just a sale. It's more of a connection that's needed for you to have long-term success with that customer. You might have a customer that's going to buy products from you for 2 months, or you may have customers that stay with you the entire time you're with Prove It. I've got customers who've been drinking it almost as long as I have. So I think that was all I was going to say, Nick. I was going to say there is a great question, though, in the comments, if you don't mind if I read just a couple of them. Do we have time?
Yes.
Okay. Audrey had a great question. If I'm understanding it correctly, she said, is there a good rule of thumb to connect a certain amount of times regarding ketones versus general conversation? And Audrey, the way I'm reading that is, first, we're not talking about this tonight, but the know, like, and trust factor is an important part of building relationship and a community. So general conversation is just you having a connection with people. So if you're just getting to know someone, whether it's social media or in person, you're having conversations with them as much or as little as you want. For example, if it's somebody you used to go to high school and you're following up with them just to see how life is, how are their kids, where they live in, where are they working, like you can have a conversation back and forth for weeks just about following up from 20 years ago. You never even have to bring up ketones. But then when you are in that situation where you're attracting specific to ketones, for example, at Labor Day sale, I posted just a few minutes ago, we got 5 hours left. I'm so excited. Fat loss, energy focus, before and after picture, like I'm creating attraction. So those conversations are going to be direct about ketones, but I'm still following up with the people, Audrey, that you've been talking about other things with. Maybe it's about your race that you're training for. I would still follow up with those people and say, oh my gosh, I just wanted to make sure in all of our conversations, have I brought up the ketones I'm using every day for energy? Because we have a Labor Day sale. So I hope that's helpful. It doesn't necessarily, there's not a rule of thumb on number of times or how much conversation. It's just being human. It truly is being human and not a robot and not a salesperson who's pushy. It's just connection with people so you can create that know, like, and trust factor. Nick, do you have anything to add to that? I thought it was a great question if I'm understanding it correctly.
No, I honestly, you just have to feel it out. And the number one solution to most challenges is just have more conversations. And then of course build relationship. But if you feel like you're waiting for somebody to start, then you probably are putting too much energy in their order or not. So you need to go have 5 more conversations and then get back to that person. So I always say wait for nothing. Let everything happen on the way to something else. I read that once and it just stuck with me. Wait for nothing. Let everything happen on the way to something else. Build those relationships, follow up, make the ask. But if your energy isn't stuck with their yes or no, then all of a sudden you're not feeling it. They're not feeling it that way. It's just part of the process. I do see Sharon's question. I think that's a really good question. I want to know how to keep them after they enroll. Sharon, you create an environment for them to have success. So you plug them into Amy, you get their questions answered, find out what their goals are. But at the end of the day, our job is to go find the next person, support them into that environment, put them into that environment, let them flourish if they choose to, but then understand that people will drink ketones for a month, people will drink ketones for 3 months, people will drink ketones for 6 months, some will drink it for 6 years. And I can't determine how long somebody's going to have ketones. Now, if they cancel their smart chip, I can ask them, hey, I saw your smart chip canceled. Did you mean to do that? Or are you overstocked on ketones? How's it going? And I can help handle wherever they're at, whatever challenge they might be experiencing. Maybe they canceled their smart chip because they have 130 servings of ketones in their cabinet because they've overbought. Well, now I can recommend they put Mitoplex on their smart chip or Keto Kick on their smart chip or something that's a support product or MCT oil or the protein. If it's something different, if they're like, you know what, I'm out, I just can't afford it right now, this is going on, I'll see if there's some way, hey, did you know we have a referral program? You can refer 3 friends and get yours for free. Would that be of interest to you? Hey, let me help you make a Facebook post. But then there's people that are they're not ready. Like it's just not their time. Now, I was just scrolling after I read that, I was scrolling through my Pulse, and I always love clicking on people's names when they order and seeing like what their order history looks like, seeing how frequently they were ordering or how long they've been a customer. And it's astounding how many customers I have right now who are ordering for the first time since 2021, since 2023, since 2022, since 2019. I had one that hadn't ordered since 2018 just reorder. So I share that because if they stop today, it doesn't mean I'm gone forever. Unless I yell at them or something and make them have a bad experience. I always have a positive experience with it. Hey, if you ever need anything, I'm here. Just let me know. I'm so happy to support your journey, and Ketones will always be here because they know I'm never gone. I'm still the steady Eddie from 9 years. Guess what? Half of my customers that ordered on this sale were people that hadn't ordered for a long time that are like, you know what? I need those things. I'm feeling bad. I just had a lady message me today. Her name's Pam. And she said, Nick, I stopped drinking ketones. She was actually a promoter with us. She'd fallen off the wagon, quit, went and did something else. Trying to find her message here. And she literally said, hey, this is Pam. I've not reached out to you in a while, but I'm just now drinking ketones again, so I could get back on track. Needless to say, after I stopped drinking them, I got off track, gained all my weight back, blah, blah, blah. Now she's ready to join us again and start drinking them again. So I create an environment where I'm running with those that want to run with me. I'm helping those that want to be helped. And then those that choose to kind of exit the room, they're always welcome back in. So I hope that helps there, Sharon.
Always welcome back. They're always welcome back. I love that. And also, I know Nick has said it, but make sure you're plugging your customers into the Drink Ketones Daily page. That is a customer-driven page. They get tons of resources, so you don't feel like you have to teach them everything. But you can always check in to say, "Oh my gosh, did you check this out in the Drink Ketones Daily page?" Just to let them know that you're also following. And like if you know someone's looking for fat loss and there was an excellent training or an excellent video in the Drink Ketones Daily, make sure you tag them in it. So that just gives them so much education that you don't have to be responsible for. And I love that our community allows us to have something like that for all of our customers. So, okay, I think we've answered a lot of questions, Nick. I enjoyed the call. So, ACE, guys, is so important. And back to the basics of the most simple way that we run our business: attract, approach, connect, and enroll. ACE. All right, Nick, I think you've got you're going to close us up, and I think you've got a challenge for us.
Yes. I'm a firm believer that after any sort of promotion or sale where we've done a lot of follow-up, the key to moving forward, the key to accelerating into September is having more new conversations. And last week when we did the Give a Pack challenge, I just love seeing everybody's pictures. I love the energy around that. And that's everything. If you're having an energy of sharing, if you're initiating those conversations, that's where this business is at. So my challenge this week is to continue the Give a Pack conversation. So for those of you that are new, last week we challenged everybody to give out 9 packs during the last week and just drop pictures as you're giving them out, pictures as you're mailing them. If you didn't utilize those for your social media, for your stories, for posts, utilize them. Let's give 9 more out. Make that just your goal. If you do 9 times 2, that's 18. So invest a box into your business. I'm not saying that you should give these to people that don't want them, right? You shouldn't just willy-nilly hand it to the people blindly. You need to set some parameters so you're not just throwing ketones at people. But if we do this collectively, and if you really create this energy, it's going to give you fuel for the rest of the month. So that's first part of this challenge. Second part is I need everyone to track their giveaways, track their conversations. If you're not taking inventory of the people that you're talking to, or especially the people that you're giving packs to, then how do you know where you're at? How do you know where you need support? Right? So if you give a pack, their name needs to be on a sheet. You need to create whatever system will work for you so that if I ask you, if I say, Todd, how many packs of ketones did you give out last week? Who are the new conversations? How many campfires did you send? Oh, look at that. Todd's got it right in front of him. All right, Todd, I'm coming for you. That's awesome. Those need to be written down so that you can actually physically say, okay, I have this many conversations going. If we don't inspect what we expect, we won't have what we're looking for. So leaving this call, I want all of us to set goals, and I have to do this yet myself. And my sister is really good at holding me accountable to this aspect. The question is, what do you want out of the month of September? What are your goals? You can start with a customer. How many new customers are you going to roll? Are you going to roll 3 new customers, 5 new customers, 10 new customers? What's that look like? How many new affiliates are you going to enroll? 2, 3, 4? What's the number? And then promoter, or do you have a goal to enroll a new promoter to expand your team? Then from those goals, is your goal to hit MVP? What's that? 2,000 in new volume. So that's 25 boxes of ketones that are sold that are new. If that's the case, write it down. Maybe you're going to start with incremental steps. Maybe it's just 500 in new volume for the month. We have to have some sort of target to go after, and I want you to write it down. In fact, Amber Horn hit me today with her goals, and I texted her back. I said, all right, I love that. I need you to write your goals, because it was like 5 or 6 different things on 5 different Post-it notes, and put them all over your house so that you see them. Okay? Because if your goals are in front of you, consciously, subconsciously, your mind's going to go to work to make them happen, to accomplish them. So what are those goals? Then there's results oriented goals, and then there's activity goals. So if your goal is to get 10 customers, I want to know what's your goal for the number of people that you're going to talk to. I'm going to have 30 conversations. I'm going to have 100 conversations. You probably want to plan to have 5 to 10 times the number of conversations per each enrollment. So if you want 5 new customers, you want to have at least between 25 and 50 conversations. Now, if you're just if you're on the street corner and you put a sign on you that says ketones, those are pretty cold conversations. So you might have to talk to 50 or 100 people in order to get those 5 customers. If you're going through your phone of old classmates and old coworkers and friends, you might only have to talk to 25 people. See the difference there? It depends on how much they know you, like you, and trust you. If you're cold messaging people on Facebook, you might have to message 200 people in order to find the 5. But if you're messaging warm contacts on Facebook that you've been friends with for years, you might only have to message 10. So you got to determine what's that number of conversations that you're going to have. The other goal that I want you to set, or intention, is what environment are you putting yourself in order to attract more conversations or be in a place to approach more people, right? So are you going to double down on social media? If that's the case, talk to your sponsor about that, right? Are you going to double down on doing vendor events or tastings or tables? If that's the case, let's figure that and talk with your sponsor. Say, I'm doubling down on this, and my goal is to have 3 events this month. If you're gonna maybe walk and talk, share the conversation while you're somebody that says, I just want to leave my house and go have conversations. Well, guess what? Like, how many days a week are you going to leave your house with intention? And then own that. You don't have to do all 3 of those. Honestly, you just have to pick one and be world class at it. You have to get good at it. You have to develop that skill. If you you have to figure out which one that is, right? And once you determine that, that's what you can set a goal in. So that's my challenge for the week. We'll be checking in inside of the chats, in the pulse around those. Make sure that whoever you're working with, like, text them your goals, text them what your intention is, so that they can help hold you accountable. And let's charge into September. So, Amy, turn it back to you.
All right, guys, one last thing. Don't forget, Thursday is our guest call. Every Thursday this month. Guys, the guest call is an opportunity for the connect piece. It's a follow-up piece, and it is so powerful. You can invite the same people every single week if you want to, because every single week they're going to meet new people, hear new stories. And guess what? If you live a crazy life like me and it comes Thursday, you're like, oh, shoot, I didn't get any responses back, or oh, shoot, I didn't get a chance to send out any invitations. Guess what? They're recorded. And when you get that recording, you can listen to the ones that just really inspire you and note that as something you're going to invite people to listen to even after the call. It's an awesome way to attract and connect in the same social media posting. So for example, I'm going to give you a quick example. We're jumping off. If Thursday is coming, which we know it's coming, you can easily post something so simple like, oh my goodness, if you could be a fly on the wall and hear stories about amazing fat loss and energy bettering your health, would you want to listen? And just say, put fly in the comments. Everybody who comments or likes, you can send them information about, oh my goodness, I'm so excited for you to jump on this call. You're going to learn so much. You're going to hear some amazing stories, and they may not ever respond to you. But guess what? You get to follow up. You get to follow up later saying, man, you missed the call, but the stories were so amazing. Would you like the recording? So guys, this connect piece is so powerful. I love the guest calls. It actually takes you out of the leader role. You get to tell your customers or your future customers all the amazing things about Nick and all the amazing things about Amber and Lori and everybody who leads these calls. It's just amazing. So take that opportunity on Thursdays. And guys, I hope you have a great week. All right, we'll see all of you later. Bye.